Om Gajadanam Bhuta Ganadisevitam Kapittajambo Palasara Bakshitam Umasam Shoka Vinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda. So last week we completed the first chapter of Prashant Yoga, and at the end of the first chapter we found that Arjuna was totally confused. He didn't know what to do, so he abandoned his bow and arrow, and he said, I don't want to fight. So that was the end of the first chapter. And Krishna didn't speak even a word. He was a listener throughout. So as we start with the second chapter, it's called Sankhya Yoga, which is a yoga of knowledge. And there are many yogas, as you said in the first chapter itself. I see a lot of new people today. So you got this very quickly summing up the first chapter. There was this battlefield where there were two armies, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, who were against. And Arjuna was going to fight with them, and the chariot driver for Arjuna was Krishna himself. It's called Parthasarathi. So when they went to fight, all ready to fight, about to begin, and the signal was to be given, and then you go ahead and fight. At that point of time, last minute, Arjuna changed his mind and he said, I want to go and see whom I am going to fight. So he goes in the middle of asks Krishna to take the chariot, in the middle of the field. Then he looks at the people and he finds they're all his cousins and his gurus, Bhishma and Dronacharya, great grandfathers and so on. Then he says, am I going to kill them? What am I going to get? I don't want to kill my own relatives. So saying, he withdraws and changes his mind and he says, cancel. Cancel everything, you don't want to fight. So gives up and throws his bow and arrow. That is the end of the first chapter. Now this is a serious problem. Especially in a battlefield, if somebody decides not to fight, means there is something. So, throughout this first chapter, Krishna was only driving and he was following whatever Arjuna said, but he didn't do anything. So this whole thing is getting narrated by Sanjaya, who had the vision, like a television. He could zoom in on any particular character and also get the sound and express the whole thing to Dhritarashtra, who was blind. So the entire Bhagavad Gita is being narrated by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. So that was the end of the first chapter. As we start the second one, we will start. The practice we have, methodology is that I recite a particular verse and people just repeat it again. That is how we follow. The question now arises, said who should read the Bhagavad Gita? I would say, why people read Gita? Why should people read Gita at all? Why?
Get clarity.
To know the way.
You're confused.
It has been translated in over 50 languages and people read it all over the globe. It is said it relieves stress and people gain knowledge and wisdom. Like a management book, they get it. So what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? There are two terms, right? Knowledge means knowing something. I know. That's I know. Wisdom is I do not know anything. I know very little. So it's knowledge combined with humility. There are a lot of people, Mahans, who claim they know very little. Then Adi Sankaracharya. Why Kanchi Paramacharya went to Kashi? He was a young person. There are Pandits, people who were like Jambavan, who knew everything. They looked at him, "Hey, what? He is called Jagat Guru. Hey, are you the one who is called Jagat Guru?" They asked him. He said, "They called me, so you are the Guru for the world." He said, "No, the world is Guru to me." And he pointed out a sparrow building a nest. He says, "I am learning from it." Structural engineers do that, no? Structural engineers learn from how nature has built things. So look at the sparrow, it's building. I do not know that. So I'm learning from the sparrow. So they humbled. Such a humble feeling that I've learned many things, but I know very little. That is wisdom. So people try to attain that. And how do they do it? There are different stages. So I'm now going to give you a quick overview of this whole thing, how it happens. The 4 stages in which people learn. In the context of Gita, I'm telling you this. 1, the first stage is recognition of a fundamental problem, the root cause of it. Most of us, tend to blame something else. If something happens, weather is not good, my car broke down, roads are not good, there is too much of taxation, I'm very poor, I don't have money. All kinds of excuses are being brought out to blame an external condition. A poor man is unhappy because I don't have money. So he blames it on lack of money. Just imagine if he gets money, he will still complain, I don't have enough money, I want more. You get a person who is seeking a promotion, for example, he gets promoted. After promotion, if you ask him, he's happy, no, I'm looking for the next one. So by stage you find there is not the satisfaction. If you seek a bachelor, he says, I don't have a wife, that's why all problems, I have to do all the work myself, cooking and all around. When he gets married, and he finds his problems have not vanished, but on the contrary, they have increased.
Not fair.
So you find this is a kind of a very funny cycle, and when I went to India, Kumaresh's home, I went there, the room was locked up, and the person who was there says there is some smell coming up. I think the servant is not cleaning properly. And they said maybe it is coming from outside neighboring, we don't know where it is coming from, but there is this distinct bad smell coming. Just one room was locked up and I opened out. And inside was a dead pigeon. So the problem was inside, not outside. But everybody was blaming, it was coming from outside. So they didn't know where the problem was. So you find the cause of the problem is often within you, and you cannot change the external conditions, however much you may like to blame it. Fundamentally, this is to be understood, recognition of the problem. That's the first stage. Now, if you recognize the problem, you discover the problem, what it is. The second stage, there is also the first stage. If you ask a successful person, how did he succeed? He will say, I always make the right decisions, in business, I know that in business. But how did you make those right decisions? He says, I have experience, I've got a lot of experience. And how did you get that experience? Wrong decisions. You made wrong decisions by which you get experience, and then you make the right decisions. That is the sequence in which it goes. Therefore, you find recognition of the problem is a fundamental thing, and the second stage comes in that you discover yourself to be helpless in addressing a problem. There is a serious problem, I don't know how to solve it. So you have to seek outside help. How many people really go and ask if there is a problem? In engineering drawings, I used to be doing, there used to be a big question. If in doubt, ask. Because if you don't and you assume certain things, the mistakes are going to be so expensive and time consuming, it's very difficult to correct it. So if you have the slightest doubt, go and ask. So you have to find out whether you are having all the resources or you find you are helpless and therefore you have to seek the help of somebody external. And it could be anybody, a consultant, an advisor, your father, your mother, anybody. That is only if you can't solve the problem by yourself. The third stage is a little difficult for us to adopt. And that is the stage where you have to surrender to somebody, have full confidence in the person. I'll go to someone, but I'm not sure whether he is giving me the right advice or not. So I want to be completely trustworthy. Person has to really be 100%. So whatever he says, I will do. So that is the third stage of surrender, or it's also called Sharanagati, which we do towards the Almighty. And only after these three steps you do, comes the last stage where you really attempt to enlighten yourself. Spiritual enlightenment comes in, or the wisdom, as I mentioned before, comes in. So you got to go stage by stage. You can't jump from first grade to straight away doing your PhD. It has to be in stages. That's the reason why we go step by step and not push too many things at the same time. So in chapter 1, what we saw, Arjuna was really in the first stage. He discovered a problem, but he didn't know what to do. So in chapter 2, you'll find Arjuna thinks again. He knows there is a problem. And he starts thinking further. And he starts doubting his own decision. That is what you're going to watch. So I will go to the first slide, the first verse. So this is a quick view. In this chapter, what we're going to see here, Krishna speaks for the first time. He was a silent listener throughout the first chapter. And he starts chiding Arjuna for his weakness. Very first spoken words. Krishna was never so harsh, but he's very harsh. Arjuna is still in grief and he is very confused. Not clear in what he should do. And finally, he goes to the third stage of surrendering to Krishna after going to the second stage and seeks Krishna's advice because he is the most trustworthy for him. There was nobody else. So that's the quick overview of this lesson, what you're going to see today. अथ द्वितीयो अध्यायः
अथ द्वितीयो अध्यायः
सांख्ययोगः
सांख्ययोगः
संजय उवाच
संजय उवाच
तं तथा कृपयाविष्टम्
तं तथा कृपयाविष्टम्
अश्रुपूर्णाकुलेक्षणम्
अश्रुपूर्णाकुलेक्षणम्
विषीदन्तम् इदं वाक्यम्
विषीदन्तम् इदं वाक्यम्
उवाच मधुसूदन
उवाच मधुसूदन
तं तथा कृपयाविष्टम्. Now, kripa here means not compassion. Kripaya means grief. He was filled with grief, overwhelmed with grief. Ashru Purna. Ashru means tears. Tears. Ashru Purna means filled with tears. Kulekshanam in the eyes. Vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudana is addressing Krishna as Madhusudana. Vakyam uvacha, overcome with grief, saddened with what he was thinking. His eyes were brimming with tears, overwhelmed by this grief, Arjuna is addressing to Sudana. So says Sanjaya. So it begins with Sanjaya Uvacha. Let's go to the next one. Now these are the first words spoken by Krishna. After listening to all these from Arjuna, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Kutasva Kashmalamidam
Kutasva Kashmalamidam
Vishabe Samupastitam
Vishame Samupastitam
Anaryajushtam Anaryajushtam
Anaryajushtam
Asvargyayam
Asvargayam
Akirtikaram
Akirtikaram
Arjuna
Arjuna
Kutastva. Now, Kutaha meant from where? Astva, Kashmalam. In Chennai, you will find some people using this word. Kashmalam, Kashmalam. The low people, but it's not really a bad word. What it means is impure, impurity, wicked, evil. That is derived from Sanskrit word Kashmalam. Kutasva Kashmalam idam. From where did you get these evil thoughts, impure thoughts in you? Vishabe Samupastitam. What is the Visham பண்றதுன்னு சொல்லுவோம் தமிழ்ல? விஷமம்ங்கிறது வந்து it is coming from Sanskrit word Vishame. Vishame means something which causes grief. இதையா போட்டு உடைச்சதுன்னா நமக்கு தான் கஷ்டமா இருக்கு இல்லையா? So that Vishame is the one which we call Vishamam in Tamil. So that, what is, how did you get this grief? Samupastitam, you got it in you. From where did you get these impure thoughts, evil thoughts which causes you this grief? Anaryujushtam, Anaryujushtam. Now this is Anarya. Now, Arya means what, you know? Not the Aryans who came from Iran or some place, which is a theory that we have in India floating around, that the Aryans drove out the Dravidians and then Dravidians were inflicted with a lot of pain and so on. The Aryans are fair-minded, fair-colored and so on. But it's not so. Aryaha, you must have seen the Ramayana serial in Hindi.
Aryaputra.
Aryaputra. Arya means one who is cultured, who is learned, respectable. In fact, the word Ayyar comes from there. Arya, Ayyar. Anarya means opposite. Opposite. Anaryajushtam. Anaryajushtam means it is unworthy of an Aryan. You are not being respectable, you are not being a cultured person by having this kind of a grief. See how harsh Krishna is speaking. Krishna is not normally like that, but he is doing this because he wants to whip Arjuna. You know, in the horses, if it is not moving properly, they have a whip. Just give it one whip, the horse will run. Like elephants, you know, elephants sometimes they don't get up, they will sit down. And the Yana Paham Varma, to make it get up, they have something called Ankusham. They give a little prick on the skin of the elephant, will get up. So likewise, here Krishna is using it as a whip to make him get up. In fact, you can say he is provoking him to think.
Yeah.
So he is using this kind of a little harsh word. From where did you get those impure thoughts in you to cause this grief? Anarya. You are not being cultured and learned. I never expected this from you. So that is what Anarya Jushtam. Asvargayam. Asvargayam means, Swargam means, you know that. Swargam means heaven. Anarkyam means, Asvargam means
Hell.
opposite of heaven.
Opposite
It
of-
means it is a barrier. What you are doing is a barrier to going to heaven. Asvargyam. Akirtikaram. Kirti means what? Famous. Amba Kirtiyodu irukanu solranga illaya. Actually Sanskrit word. Akirti means opposite. In Sanskrit you have anything, you put a, it becomes opposite. Nyaya, anyaya, krama, akramam and so on. So Akirtikaram means what is this infamy or something which is not famous. You are going to be famous, but what you are doing is just the opposite. It is infamy. Arjuna. So in other words, you want to summarize it, you say, oh Arjuna, from where did you get this illusion or these kind of impure thoughts in you? And this is not befitting a honorable person, not an Arya. And it is not conducive to your attainment of heaven. It is only infamy. So this is spoken by Bhagavan himself. So when you go through some difficult periods, don't think that Bhagavan is really being harsh. He is actually equipping you up to rise better. Devi Bhagavata படிச்சல்னாக்க தேவி சொல்றா கஷ்டத்தை கொடுக்க மாட்டேன்னு சொல்றதில்லை, நான் கஷ்டத்தை கொடுப்பேன் உங்களுக்கு. பிகாஸ் அந்த கஷ்டத்துலேருந்து உங்களுக்கு திரும்பி வெளியில் வரணும்னா அதுக்கு சக்தியும் நான் தான் கொடுக்குறேன். Devi Bhagavad, those of you who read it, you got Devi here. So you have Devi Bhagavad, Devi says that Kunti, when she met Krishna, please keep on giving me more difficulties, she says. Kunti prays to Krishna. Why? Because only in times when you are giving me difficulty, I remember you, otherwise I'll forget you. It is true, many people don't remember about anything else when they are prosperous. When they have difficult time, they say, oh, but when prosperous time comes, they forget. So here, it is something where Krishna Bhagavan is telling you, for the good of Arjuna, he is giving you these harsh words. We'll go to the next. Klaivyam masmagamah partha
Klaivyam masmagamah
Daitat tvayyu upapadyate Shudram hridaya daurbalyam Takto vetishta parantapa Now, Klaivyam masmagamaha. Klaivyam. What does Klaivyam mean? It's a word which means unmanly. In other words, impotent. Somebody who is not able to do things as you should do as a man. Masmagamaha. Masmagamaha means do not yield. Do not yield or do not get. Partha, of course, is referred to as Partha. Oh, Partha, that's what it means. Na etat tvayi. Nai tatvat. It's split up as na etat tvayi upapadyate. Na etat means na is not. And this etat means this, you. Befitting. Fitting. This is not befitting you. What is not befitting you? Acting like this. Parantapaha. Parantapaha means scorcher of enemies. One who is able to vanquish. Again, an adjective to Arjuna. Parantapaha. Shudram hridaya daurbalyam. Shudram means hateful, sometimes hostile, very mean. Hridayam daurbalyam. Hridayam daurbalyam means what you call chicken-hearted. The English translation could be chicken-hearted, small heart. There are people who get frightened to do even small things. Oh, chicken order. Tvakve tishti parantapa. Tvakve means abandon, give up. Uttishta. Uttishta. Uttishta means what?
Get up.
Get up. Get up. He says, get up. Come on, don't be like this, chicken-hearted. Get up. Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't be chicken-hearted. So, what he says is, oh Arjuna, do not yield to this unmanliness. Don't be an impotent chap. He is not worthy of you. You have to, you are a scorcher of enemies and you go get chicken-hearted like this. This is a weakness of heart. Come on, get up and start doing things. So he is trying to wake him up and do that. This is something in our daily life we tend to advise people every day. Whether we like it or not, we keep on advising people. Don't go to India in June because it's very hot. He didn't come and ask you whether but they can don't drink this Coca-Cola and Pepsi is not good for health. Don't drink any liquor. These are advice that coming. Potato chips are very bad for heart. Nobody is asking you this advice, but we tend to give it. Normally, we do that. This is for all kinds of opinions are running. But here, he is not giving him advice. He is not preaching Gita yet. He is only telling him, now get up and start working. So this is the saramsam of this verse, that Krishna is whipping up Arjuna to wake up and get up and start working. That's only instruction, not really a preaching. Arjuna uvacha.
Arjuna Vacha.
Katam bhishmamaham sankhe.
Katam Bhishmamaham Sankhe.
Dronam cha madhusudana.
Dronam cha Madhusudana.
Ishubhihi pratiyotsyami.
Ishubhihi Patiyotsyami.
Puja.
Puja.
Arha.
Arha.
Varisudana.
Varisudana.
You got to split up these words because some of them are joined together. Like earlier I said, na etat iva. It will be in Sandhi will come a complicated word. Katam Bhishma Maham. Katam means how. Bhishmam is Bhishma. Aham. Now I'm giving you only split word meaning. But the meaning of the entire sentence will be somewhat different because in Sanskrit the verb can come right at the end also. So until that comes you won't know what you are talking about. Aham Sankhe. Sankhe means what? In battle. Dronam. Dronam refers to Dronacharya. Cha Madhusudana Krishna. Ishubhihi. Ishubhihi is Ishu, you know. I've taught you earlier.
Arrows.
Correct. You're all very good. Nice memory. You should be with arrows. Pratiyotsyami. Pratiyotsyami means what? Yotsyami means fight. Prati means
First.
against. Fight against. Prati is the opposite. Vadam, prativadam. Right?
Yeah.
Argument, counter argument. Prati. Pratiyotsyami means how can he fight against? Pujarha varisudana. Pujarho means, puja means what?
Worship.
Worship. Pujar means worthy of worship. Krishna, how can I fight against Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of worship with my arrows? That is the gist of it. So he says, in other words, he doesn't want to do that. He is repeating the same thing You know, in good old days when you used to have these small 78 RPM records, I don't know whether you have seen any of them. We had one at home, They used to be polyvinyl records before the advent of tape recorders and all that. And there will be a small turntable, you put the record, and then you have a small needle and it starts playing. If it's broken, it will keep on circulating the same thing and keep on
Repeating
saying the same thing again and again, like a broken record. So Arjuna is saying the same thing, what you heard in the first chapter, he's saying the same thing. Oh, how can I kill these people, Drona and Bhishma? They are all my gurus and my ancestors and I can't, no. So he's repeating the same thing. When you have grief, you tend to repeat the same thing again and again. So that is what is happening in this particular verse that Arjuna Vacha, that Krishna, how can I really kill these people and fight against them? Going on. Gurun ahatvahi
Gurun ahatvahi
Mahanubhavan
Mahanubhavan
Shreyo bhoktum
Shreyo bhoktum
Vaiksham apiha loke
Vaiksham apiha loke
Hatvartakamastu
Hatvatakaamastu
Gurun nihaiva
Gurunihaiva
Bunjiya bhogan
Bunjiya bhogan
Rudira pratigdan.
Rudira pratignan.
So you find some words together, but we'll try to split it up for you. Mahanubhavan. Mahanubhavan means what? Yantaro.
Great persons.
Great people. Noble people. There's a reference adjectives to gurus. Mahanubhavan. Mahan itself means great person. Gurun Hatva. Ahatva it's actually. It is not Hatva, but Guru Ahatva. Together it becomes Guru Ahatva. Guru Ahatva. Hatva means what?
Kill, right?
Killing.
Yeah.
Ahatva means
Cannot
not killing. Not killing. By not killing or instead of killing the gurus, Shreyo Bhoktum. Shreyo means better, superior. Bhoktum means Bhojanam.
To eat.
Bhoktum means to eat. Bhaicham apiha loke. Bhiksham, Bhaicham means what?
To
To get
beg.
alms, beg.
To beg. Instead of killing the gurus, it is better
Worthy to beg.
that I beg and eat. I would rather eat it. I don't want to kill them. I don't mind being a beggar. Hatvartha kamastu guru nihaiva. Hatva means having killed
Having killed.
or by killing. Kamastu guru. Artha kamastu it means. There are 4 stages in life. Dharmartha kama moksham. Dharmartha kama moksham. Yeah, Arul Purul Inbam Beed. Tamil சொல்லுவாங்க அருள் பொருள் இன்பம் வீடு 4 stages. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நமக்கு அருள் இருக்கணும், அதாவது தர்மம் இருக்கணும், அப்பதான் வரும் மீதி எல்லாம். தர்மார்த்த காம மோக்ஷம். That is why dharma is put first. So artha kamastu means the wealth. Artha means really, kama means pleasures.
Right.
Artha kamastu, having killed. Artha kamastu, the wealth and the pleasures coming out. Gurur nihaiva. Guru nihaiva means those gurus, gurukalai. Gunjiya means enjoyment. Bhogan, all the pleasures. Rudira, Rudira means Udiram சொல்ற தமிழ்ல blood. Rudira. Pratikdan is, that is mixed up or it is stained with blood. Stained with blood. So, in other words, he says it is better to live in this world by begging rather than slaying all my great superiors. And by slaying, by killing them, the wealth and pleasure we will get will be tainted with blood. In other words, I am going to be feeling myself very guilty if I do that. Here, Bhiksham is receiving Bhiksha. You know, when you have Upanayanam, you give Bhiksha to. In these 4 Varnas, only 3 of them are entitled to receive Bhiksha. As a Brahmachari. As a Brahmachari, in good old days, they used to go Bhiksha. Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. As soon as you perform Upanayanam, you do that. So Brahmacharis are entitled. Grihasthas are not entitled to beg. There is other ashram called Vanaprastha ashram. That is before Sannyasa ashram. In Vanaprastha ashram, the people are allowed to live with their spouse. In Sannyasam, you are all by yourself. Sannyasis are allowed to, because they have to live only by bhiksha. They cannot cook. Nor can the wife come and cook and give it to them. So, Bhiksham, this case, if supposing Grihasthas also start receiving Bhiksha, it is called Parigraha Dharma. You know, this, you are actually interfering with the duty of the other 3 Varnas, who are entitled. But Grihasthas also start begging, then who will give them?
Yeah.
Other people. Grihasthas are supposed to offer alms. So it is against the Dharma code of conduct. So by doing that, actually, he is doing a sin. Bhiksham Piha. Okay. So it is in the next line you will find how he is being taught about this. That is also an evil, is also a sin. As evil as sin as killing people. That you can't beg.
So, but the first line is saying that I would rather beg than kill, right?
So he says, he's now kind of coming to some options, you know, where he's coming to, there are two things. I would rather beg and go, no, instead of killing these people. And even if I kill them, how can I really enjoy those pleasures? Because it is going to be remembering. I will keep on reminding about my guru having killed them, and the memory will make me feel guilty. I cannot enjoy. So he's actually coming closer to options. There are 2 options: whether he can go to the forest and then start begging, because Duryodhana refused to give him even 1 inch of space. He says, I will not give you anything. He said, you give us 5 cities or towns. No. 5 houses? No. 5 rooms? No. 5 cubic feet? No. Nothing. I will not give you even an inch of space. So where will you go? If you want to live, you have to go to the forest only. In forest, who is going to give you? Not good. See, so he's now thinking of that, and having lived for 13 years in the forest, he knows the difficulties that he has experienced, right? So he's now thinking, there is possibility I can go on begging. It's a very loose statement. Oh, I would rather beg instead of killing them. On the other hand, he also said, if supposing I kill them and I get all the royal pleasures, can I really enjoy it? Because I will have that guilty feeling in me, having the blood-stained wealth. Will I be happy? He's coming to closer to weighing options. So from totally confusing and totally making a decision that he's not going to fight, he's coming a little closer to say that, well, I think there are 2 possibilities. He's coming to those kind of options. So you'll find as we go in the next how things change. He's able to see some options in this. Na chetat vidmaha
Na chaitat vidmaha
kataranno gariyo
kataranno gariyo
yadva jayema yadi
yadva jayema yadi
vano jayeyuhu
vano jayeyuhu
yaneva hatvana
yaneva hatvana
jiji vishamas
jiji vishamas
ते अवस्थिताः
ते अवस्थिताः
प्रमुखे
प्रमुखे
दार्द्रराष्ट्राः So you see how he is coming closer to realizing that he is helpless. So to solve a problem, either you should have enough confidence and capability to resolve it, or you should realize that I am helpless, therefore I have to seek help. No, Arjuna has recognized the problem, but thinks that he is competent to solve it by himself. So he says, I have made the decision, I am quitting. But gradually he thinks, is it a good idea really to go back to forest as Duryodhana is not giving me anything? I can't take Bhiksha also because it is adharmic. Now both Arjuna and Krishna are feeling helpless here because Arjuna is not seeking Krishna's help at this stage. He is not gone to him and asked him, what shall I do, Krishna? And Krishna is also silent. He is very diplomacy, you know. Why should I volunteer any guidance unless he comes to ask me? Right? See, the story goes, there is a Gita called Uddhava Gita. Uddhava was a great friend and also a charioteer for Krishna. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, he never asked for anything from Krishna, even though he served him very loyally. And Krishna said to Uddhava, you've been so loyal and so nice to me, but you've never asked anything. Why don't you ask something I want to give you? Uddhava says, Krishna, I don't want anything from you. But, I have some questions in my mind. I want some clarifications from you. So what is it you want to ask? Go and ask. And at that time, Uddhava says, Krishna, you have been a friend to the Pandavas. Why did you not stop Dharmaputra from playing the dice? You could have easily done that, isn't it? That time Krishna says, I didn't go there because Dharmaputra did not want me to come. Now how can I go? I was waiting. I thought he's going to call me, but he didn't even call me, didn't even think of me. On the other hand, he said, I should not come. Because if Krishna discovers I am playing dice, he will come and interfere with something, so I don't want him. So that is another big chapter, that Uddhava keeps on asking many questions and Krishna answers all of them. So in this case, Krishna is keeping silent. He doesn't volunteer any opinion as yet. Had it been anybody else, he would say, Arjuna, come here, I'll tell you what to do. He doesn't say that. So he says, let's wait for the right moment. At that time, he will speak properly. So at this stage, he is still silent and you see, here he says, Na chaitej vidma katharanno dhariyu. There are na cha etad, not na cha etad, etad. Na cha etad is na chaitej vidmaha. Na cha etad means not this. Vidmaha is we know. It's coming from Vidya, Vidmaha, we know. Katharanno, which dhariyo means better. Now you see options, which is better? Yet, that one, va means or. Jayema, we should conquer. Yadi, if. Va no, jayaha. Va is again or. Atava, means or. Atava. Na, jayayuhu. They should conquer. Na, not. Yana, eva, whom, even. Viji, vishamaha, we wish to live. Te, again they. Avasthitaha, means those who are standing. Pramuke, facing us. Dardrashtraha, the sons of Dhritarashtra. So, what is the gist of this is, we do not know, here it is we, he says I, not I, we. We do not know, Krishna, what is better for us, whether we conquer them or they conquer us. We don't know that yet. Those sons of Dhritarashtra, whom by killing them, would not desire to do it. They are all gathered before us, those sons of Dhritarashtra, whom we would not desire to kill them. They are all facing us. So which is better? To kill them, to conquer them, or allow them to conquer us?
Oh
So
God.
you see now weighing in his mind. If you see some of these movies, Sherlock Holmes, if you know, any fans of Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot here?
Hercule Poirot.
Hercule Poirot, yeah, that's nice. So they have, there is a crime or something, and they start with a problem. When they look at it, they don't reach a conclusion immediately, but they know there is a problem. So they gather some facts and figures, witnesses and so on. And they are going towards a solution. Suddenly they discover some new evidence as the witnesses. Very sharp observation of Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot. Then they change the options. Whether it could be a person A or person B who has committed the crime. Doing options. And finally they reach the right decision. Likewise here, there are two options. Which one is going to lead where we do not know. We do not know which is better for us. So here it is a question of, what shall I say, Arjuna is at crossroads. He is at crossroad and he is not sure what we should do. Here again you find ego. He says, I don't know, sir. I don't know where we should go. He is still not seeking Krishna's help here, even at this stage. The next verse you see, there will be a change. A turning point you will find. कार्पण्यदोषोपगत स्वभावः
कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः
पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः
पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः
यच्छ्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
यश्चेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
शिष्यस्ते अहं शादिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्
शिष्यस्ते अहं शादिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
So here, this is a very, very, very important verse. It's the turning point of Arjuna's thinking. You find. See, being ignorant is not really a serious problem. There are a lot of people, we don't know everything. We are sometimes ignorant. But perpetuating the ignorance is an issue. You should not kind of wallow in ignorance and keep repeating the same mistakes again and again. Once you learn something, you build up upon that experience in order not to repeat the same mistake. So Arjuna now admits that he is confused and he doesn't know which is dharma or dharma. Dharma sammudha chetaha. Dharma sammudha chetaha means confused about dharma. Which is better? Is killing them better? Is it dharma? Or I go to the forest and I have to seek alms but I may not get and I have to suffer in consequence. I don't know which is the better option in this. So he admits here that he is confused, he doesn't know at this stage. Karpanya is Karpanya dosha upahata swabhavaha. It is swabhavam is natural quality, which is natural quality is really to hurt and Arjuna is fighter. Upahata, it's a Karpanya dosha means weakness coming out of grief. Out of grief. And Pritchami Tvam Dharma Sammudha Chetaha. Pritchami means I am asking you. Tvam, you. Dharma Sammudha Chetaha, I am confused about Dharma. Yata Shreyaha. Shreyaha means which is better. which is superior, yatastrayaha, which is better, syat, exists, nischitam, definitely. I don't want a wishy-washy answer. When you want a solution, you have to be sure which is definitely better. Don't say that, oh, I think it may be. I don't want that kind of incidental answer, you know. I want something which is definite. You are sure it is the better, best course. Nischitam. Bruhitan me. Bruhi means tell me. Sishyate aste aham. It's the first time he is saying he is a Sishya or a disciple. Who is a Sishya? Sikhna in Hindi means what?
Learn.
Actually, it is coming from Siksha. Sikshataha yogyataha is Sishyaha. One who is fit to learn. A disciple should also have quality. Sishya yogyataha. Yes. The word Sikh, Sardarji's, you know, from where it comes? Siksha. It comes from Sikh. Who was their guru?
Guru Nanak.
Guru Nanak.
Gobind Singh.
Guru
Gobind
Singh.
Singh.
Gobind Singh. Gobind becomes Gobind there.
Guru-
Sikhism is an offshoot of Hinduism.
Correct.
So that's why the Guru is called Guru Gobind Singh. And they are called Sikhs because they are the people who revere their Guru. Guru is their almost God, like. So they learn from the Guru, that's why they are called Sikhs. Sikhs. That is the origin of the word actually. So here he has become, for the first time he says, I am your disciple. Sishyate aham. Shadiman tvam prapannam. Hadiman is actually an advice. I want your instructions, instruction, advice. Mam tvam prapannam. To me, tvam, you, prapannam, surrender to you. I surrender to you. First time, after all this confusion about what is better, he doesn't know. He says, my natural qualities of fighting are all besieged by weakness and my own doubts, my apprehension. And my thinking is so confused, bewildered. About what is dharma, I don't know. I am asking you to please tell me what is definitely right and what is definitely good for me. I am your disciple. I have become your disciple. I have surrendered to you. Please instruct me. You see how he is changed from a person who was totally confused, who never wanted to fight. He is now coming to from the confusion to doubt, and now he is the third stage of surrender, what I mentioned in the first. Okay, so this is the turning point for him.
So one question. So when there's normally anything when it goes through all these stages, it takes time. Yeah, any problem you have,
Yeah,
it takes like weeks before you go through all these emotions and confusion, doubts. And,
absolutely, absolutely.
but Arjuna kind of went through everything like within a short span.
Yes, yes. To some people it is, the wisdom dawned when they are 30, some people it is 40, some people it is 60, in my case it is about 60. So you can say it depends on the age and then how it really occurs. It can happen anytime. It can happen quickly, it can happen taking a very long time also. We don't know that.
Yeah, but from the
But in this case
problem
particularly,
to
it is a situation of crisis. So where people have to take quick decisions. So you can't wait, Krishna, I will come tomorrow and then we can talk about it, It doesn't happen. He has to take a decision on the spot, within a few seconds. So that's why it happens so quickly. Nahi prapashyami
Nahi prapashyami
mama
mama
apanudyat
apanudyat
yachoham
yachoham
yuchoshanam
uchoshanam
indriyanam
indriyanam
avapya
avapya
bhuma
bhuma
vasa
Vasa
patna
patna
riddham
Mridam
rajyam
Rajyam
suranam
Suranam
api
Api
chadipatyam.
Chadipatyam
Nahi pashyami means I don't see. Mama apanudyat, by removal of, yata shokam means grief. Ucho shanam means drying up. Choshanam. Indriyanam, of my senses, avapya, having obtained, bhumava sapanna mritam. Bhumo means in this earth. Asapatnam is unrivaled. Rajyam, you know that, means the country. Vruddham is prosperous. Suranam is asura. Sura means devas. Api, even cha, adhipatyam, lordship. So, the gist of this is even after getting a prosperous and unrivaled Rajyam, kingdom in the earth, and even supremacy like getting Indra Padavi, lordship of Devas, I do not see that it can dispel my grief, which is already draining my senses. So it's a kind of lamentation that I don't know, I don't know which is better for me. Whether getting a prosperous and this one after all this in supremacy, I don't see whether it can take off my grief at all or not. So it's an expression of doubt again, but again seeking Krishna's help in this. No, my dad used to say, in those days we used to have a bed called Dandapillo, which was the most expensive bed. So you will say that you can buy a Dandapillo, but still it doesn't guarantee you sleep. So you can have all these pleasures, royal pleasures, still it doesn't guarantee you that my grief will go away. So I'm in that kind of situation. So that's what he tells Krishna. So the next verse
The
is
harshness
the...
of Krishna's answer could have also acted as a catalyst.
So actually that verse 8 is the end of the scenario where Arjuna is really seeking help of Krishna by surrendering to him and says, Arjuna, I don't know which is better. I have no idea, absolutely no idea. You have to guide me. I am your Sishya. I surrender into you. So it's kind of a stalemate situation where Arjuna is helpless, he doesn't know. And Krishna has still not given him any piece of advice. He just stays silent. He just listens to the last word. So enter Sanjaya. Sanjaya uvacha
Sanjaya uvacha
eva mukva hrishikesham gudakesha parantapa nayotsa iti govindam utva tushnim babuvaha. So Sanjaya said that eva muktva means having thus said, Rishikesham is the Lord of senses, other name for Krishna, who is the Lord of senses. Gudakesha is referring to adjective for Arjuna. I've spoken to you. One who has overcome or conquered sleep, Gudakesha. Parantabha, sculpture of again adjective for Arjuna. Nayatsi iti govindam uktva tushnim babuvaha. So I will not fight, says Arjuna to Govinda, because I don't know what is what, and I have become silent. Tushti means I have become silent, and Babuva became silent. This is actually Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra. So Arjuna says that I will not fight because I don't know what is good for me, and so saying he becomes silent. So this is where we stop today. And we reach the stage when Arjuna has given up everything and he doesn't know what is good for him. He's in a dilemma between the, devil and the deep blue sea, as they call it, If you go this way, if you kill everybody and, get all the royal pressure, he's not sure whether he's going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
On the contrary, it may still continue and you will have the guilt of having killed them. But if he doesn't fight and goes into the forest and all that, he's also breaking dharma there, and he knows how difficult it is having suffered for 13 years. It is not an easy life for him. So both are evils. He wants to choose lesser of the two evils. And to choose which is lesser of the two evils, he is seeking the help of Krishna and says, please advise me. I have become your disciple. And so he falls at his feet. So we'll stop here, continue with it next week. Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam.
Govinda, Govinda.